What's up? Sheneisha here with Living Corporate, and today we'll be discussing managing COVID-19 induced stress. We have a very special guest. Our guest is a wellness lifestyle entrepreneur, a woman in technology, and a certified and health wellness coach, a blogger, and an author. Her 3 books, A Year of Me, Mindful Eating to Improve Well-Being, The 10 Days, a Wellness Retreat for Personal Transformation, and A Wellness Journey are all dedicated to health and wellness through mindful living. She writes a weekly blog, Mindfulness Matters, raising awareness for living a holistically healthy lifestyle. An avid foodie and mindfulness enthusiast, she left corporate America in 2019 to launch the You Gotta Eat app, creating a virtual marketplace providing much needed fresh and healthy meals into local communities and a platform for sharing food. You Gotta Eat is dedicated to improving the overall health and wellness of society. She also launched TK Inspirations, offering remarkable wellness transformation coaching, group wellness journeys, and inspirational meditations, talks based on discovering wellness through purpose and how we together can improve the overall health and wellness of our world. Before becoming an entrepreneur, our guest was a finance executive with a corporate career spanning over 26 years. A crippling car accident involving her children led to the awakening of her spiritual journey. She takes great pride in being from Washington, D.C. and a graduate of the Florida A&M University. Her greatest joys are her children, Evan and Taylor, and her husband, Chef Craig Stevens. Let's welcome our special guest, Tonya Kinlow. Tonya, welcome to the show.
Thank you for my introduction.
It is fabulous, as it only should be, being a rattler.
Yes. Oh, that's so exciting. I love my family. Absolutely.
Yes. And it's so good to have you. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm like everybody else, surviving this virus, a new way of life. But, I really try to keep it positive and be a light for other people. So in that way, I'm doing well, healthy and happy.
Yes, I love that. Healthy and happy. See the
yes.
A whole nother logo. They're going to know the business, Tonya.
Write that down.
I love that. So, Tonya, I've given the intro. Could you tell us who is Tonya Kinlow?
So, many years ago, I probably would have said just what you said. I would have said what I do, things like that. But now it's funny because one of the first questions I ask when I do my morning meditations is, who am I? What do I want? What is my purpose? These essential questions. What am I grateful for? And so it's not what I do, but who I am. So I can say I am a spiritual being living a human experience. And I am a seeker, seeking truth and wisdom and ultimately happiness and inner peace. And in that way, we're all alike. We all want the same things. I think I've just sort of transitioned and transformed over time to sort of when I got out of corporate and started thinking about life in a bigger way, that it just became my goal. Like, who doesn't want to be happy? Like, I think everyone's goal should be one of happiness. So I started to focus more on the spiritual part of me versus just the human part, which is where there's a lot of power. So I would say, aside from what you just presented about me and my background and where I went to school and where I'm from, who I am is a spiritual seeker. I'm looking in my job, my role, my purpose is to use my gifts to make the world a better place. So uniquely me, I'm a woman, a mother, mentor, entrepreneur, spiritualist. I practice compassion. I'm funny. I got a loud laugh. I am really smart. People tell me and I'm just a little bit of a diva, and that's me. That's
And you know what? I love all of it.
yeah, thank you.
All of it. And I love how you made the point or emphasis on the difference between who you are and what you do. That's important. That's so important. I think a lot of times we get that mixed up. Could you share more insight about TK Inspirations? Like, how did you enter this space of wellness transformation? But let's start first with, tell me about TK Inspirations.
So TK Inspirations is only a year old, and we've done a lot. About a little over a year, maybe a year and a half ago, I was finishing my second and third book, because they sort of accompany one another, and it's called The 10 Days. So I was talking about these 7 intentions, a way of living life that I have discovered over my lifetime, that really can help you overcome any circumstance that comes before you. Like, it just takes your mindset, your way of living, and it's a practice. And so I developed these 7 intentions, and I wrote a book about it. And at the same time, I decided to get a certification for being a health coach, because I felt like I wanted that, certification behind my name and the technical aspects. And that was more like about, your insulin levels and carbohydrates and proteins, the really more practical. So I was able to combine, as I do now with everything, right, the practical human side with the spiritual side, and they both, and then align them. I did that. I went on so they were coming out. We self-published, and then got it on Amazon, and we were okay. And I went on last March, a year ago, on a cruise with my sorority sisters. I had a big anniversary celebration, and I led the morning meditations, and we started having the conversation, and they loved the idea. They said, everybody needs to know this now. So from there, I started doing wellness journeys and coaching, and just talking to people about these principles and teaching these things. And I did 2 wellness journeys last year. They're like each 60 days long. I talk to people I do a talk every week. And so it just grew. It's just blossomed. And then meditation is one of the intentions. And it's just been very liberating. I actually have now, I feel like I have, through these intentions and through this journey, created the life that I want. Because I've gone through divorce. As you mentioned, my kids had a really bad car accident. I've had some very tough things, as we all have had. The beauty is, though, when you learn how to overcome these things, I've survived, like we're going to survive this virus. I've survived. I know how to overcome things, and I was able to say, here's the things that got me through. And now I just love to help other people make that same connection. So it's all inspirational, all transformational, and so it's about remarkable wellness. So that's how we got going. So and so that's TK Inspirations. Really, actually, I didn't even think about it. It's like we're celebrating an anniversary right now, a year old.
Well, happy anniversary. If I can sing, I would definitely hit you with that. Is it Tony? It's my anniversary. No, is that not it?
Oh, there you go. Yes.
I would definitely hit you with that. But congratulations on you guys on TK's Inspiration Anniversary. And thank you so much for entering this space and giving us something to help us even go beyond surviving. And with that being said, Tonya, I like to dive into this COVID-19 induced stress. That's what I'm calling it, y'all. COVID-induced 19 stress. So what are the symptoms of stress, and how can we manage it during a time like this?
So stress manifests itself in a million ways, but some of the really obvious or major ones are, so the physical ones are headaches. A lot of people are tired now, even though they're not even really doing anything. Fatigue, lethargy, just something not being right. That's sort of the physical thing. Sometimes people break out in hives. The emotional piece is more, you can recognize it when you're overthinking, your mind is racing, you have fear and guilt, like it's this anxiety, this edge, and just a lack of motivation and a lot of uncertainty. And when you're feeling this way, that is stress. And so there's also some really unique things I wanted to point out that people may not be aware of. Anything that's sort of off kilter or that's different, it is stress, which is an indicator. If you're paying attention to it, then you can manage it, or then you can learn how to live with it. So, for instance, for me, I've been having time shifts, and I talked to 2 other people this week, and they're having the same issue. Like the time doesn't make sense anymore. I think only 15 minutes has gone by, and it's been an hour and a half, or I think it's been 3 hours and it's only been 20. Well, that's an exact hour and a half. Or I wake up in the middle of the night and then I close my eyes and wake back up. I think it's 15 minutes and it's time to get up. So
right.
So these feelings of like nothing is the same. That is also an indicator of stress. Not as harsh or harmful as the migraines or things like that. That's just sort of a wake up to remind us that everything is changing right now. So I think that's interesting. That I don't know that people think about time shifting, or if you can't recognize, like, people don't look the same to you. Like if you've ever looked in the mirror and said, I don't recognize myself anymore. Times of high stress, things just don't seem like a vertigo or an imbalance. Those are all indicators of stress. So those are things to look out for. Anything off, anything that's not, and not working out. And then the question is, as you said, what do you do about it? I said the first thing is to be aware of it. So I have to be aware that I'm being stressed out. I'm thinking too much. I am getting these headaches. And then you can do something about it. So the first step is like just checking out your own body, checking out your own behavior. Oh, I forgot to mention short tempers, attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't handle stress well. And those things, you have to find it in yourself, see it, and then you can react to it. That's the first thing. If people just walk around blind, it is awareness. So I would say the big one thing is to think about what you think about. That is the first thing. What are you stressed out about? What is it doing to your body?
That is a really good tip. I didn't even think about what to think about.
Mm-hmm. It's awareness,
think about,
right?
yes.
Because stress is we just let our bodies just run wild, with thoughts and worries and fears. But if you start to think about what you're thinking about, there's an infinite amount of things you can be thinking about. Why just choose the negative ones? Once you start recognizing that, it just makes a world of difference.
Oh, big difference, especially if there's so many things that are being projected on you from family and friends, and just this whole ordeal right now.
Yes.
For what you see in the media, it's easier to revert to the panic like everyone else, when you can honestly just take a moment for yourself and have that carved out time where you meditate and reflect on things that are impacting you. I know a lot of people right now are probably going crazy, sitting in the house with their families and their loved ones, when you can look at this side of it and just say, hey, this is that vacation. It may not be exactly the vacation that we wanted, but this is that time where we can really embrace one another and learn some things about your family that you never knew before,
Yes, exactly. And that's another thing where people are getting a little, that cabin fever. Mm-hmm. And so within, it's, it builds, the stress builds, because then what? People start to overeat or eat whatever they can get their hands on because they don't want to go out, or drink too much or binge watch TV, so there's some things that we might do without awareness that then are just negative. It just sets us back. It stresses us out more. Now we're mad, we gain weight.
Oh, trust you me. I'm like, ooh.
And
have to manage this. I done went on Amazon and got all this stuff for a home gym. Like, Lord, keep these pounds down. And it goes even into my next question. Like, what are 3 tips you would like to share to those enduring this quarantine? Like, what should we be doing?
Okay. First is to give yourself a break. Now, this is overarching. This is just like overarching. We're all in the same boat. None of this is anyone's fault. So the ability to pay bills, the inability to go outside, all of those, if we've never felt the oneness of the world and the universe before, we should feel it now. So one is just give yourself a break. Let the guilt go. Let the fear go. It's all going to be okay in the long term. So that's just like a big mindset. But for practical things also to do at home, that's, we can't I always say we can't just use the same things that got us here. So we as humans, we focus on our 5 senses. But we are spiritual beings. There is a bigger power that this is the time to tap into. This power is changing the entire world right now. Like, there's a virus spreading. People are working together. People are being kind to one another. There's a whole shift that's happening. Tragedy breeds kindness sometimes. It's a shame that it has to be a tragedy. So there's a lot. So creativity is the first thing. We don't have to be competitive now. We're not at work, competing for that next promotion or racing home. We got to beat the traffic, to get home and make dinner for our kids. This is a time where you can let that competitive side go and bring out the creative side. So do some home projects. Do some do-it-yourself. I've been making shea butter. I just sent my best friend a package with this whipped shea butter with lavender. It's beautiful, And so it was something nice to do in the afternoon, and I could send it to someone. Journaling, do some journaling. Do things internal or find, something creative. Then the second thing is positive thinking. I just said there's a million things you can think about. So instead of focusing on there's no toilet tissue, there's facial tissue,
See, I told y'all about this toilet paper. Nobody is listening to me. People is going crazy about this toilet paper. But yes, please proceed.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I literally went to 6 stores one morning. I really needed it, like last week, like 6 stores. And then finally I waited for a truck to deliver. It's crazy. But I wasn't mad. I was like, I don't understand. I guess I do understand the psychology a little bit. But I tend to say, I was just picking up some more packs of facial tissue. I just need some tissue.
See? Told you.
So it's like, how do you, or antibacterials out. I looked up how to make it. I made some at home. Like, instead of being angry and upset about the negative, it's about shifting your mindset to a positive space, to a creative space. You can find solutions. And if you don't, it's still going to be okay. And the third thing is the biggest thing, and this is one of the 7 intentions, is meditation. And I mentioned it before. It's one of the biggest things that you can do to calm your mind. Meditation, so what produces stress is this chemical cortisol. Meditation calms, it blocks the production of cortisol. So the things that we do, the spiritual things, align with our biochemistry, with our body. And when we are aware, when we start to recognize and manage those things, if you meditate in the morning, it will make your whole day go better. I mean, that stillness and time with spirit, God, the universe, however you call it, will cover your whole day. And then it brings that awareness to you. So those 3 things, those 3 tips, it's a shift for people because we're so busy and crowded throughout our days that we don't take the time to be creative, to pick back up that hobby, to read a book, to think about creative solutions instead of complaining about problems. So these 3 things, and the meditation, that if you can just do one thing, start a meditation practice. That's a stress reliever. It's physical and spiritual. It's like a magic elixir.
Yes, for this meditation. And this meditation goes into how do we stay focused, right? So We're meditating.
Exactly.
How do we stay focused while experiencing a pandemic like COVID-19? And even things outside of just this, because there's so many things that can impact your day and induce stress. Mm-hmm. How do we stay focused during this time? Would meditation be the key?
Meditation would be one of the keys, one of the main keys to help you. Because when you start to, and when I talk about these 7 intentions, when you start to be able to overcome any situation, that means any situation. We all have deaths and relationships and sicknesses and illnesses. That is how life goes. People come into our lives, people leave. So we always have these. The question is, how do we overcome them? What are the tools? How can we be equipped? Meditation is is the biggest, and to me, that's the alignment of the physical and spiritual. But there's other things, exercise, self-care, journaling, there's getting enough rest. But the one thing that you can do to stay focused, I'd say on a practical side, is you set your mindset. It's all about a mindset shift. So again, how the mind works, there's this executive function. Whenever you put yourself in the context of a situation, you make better decisions and that situation is easier. What do I mean by that? When you're at school, you're at school. It's about the teachers, your friends, your homework, what are your assignments. That's what you're thinking about. You're not thinking about your family reunion when you're at school. When you're at your family reunion, hopefully you're not thinking about work. You're meeting your cousins. You're cooking out. What are we going to eat? You're all in that context. Right now, we need to be in the context of health and wellness. So everything that if you could just focus everything that you're doing, bring it back to: is this good for me? Am I washing my hands? Am I keeping a good distance? Am I being mentally healthy and calm? Everything will naturally come back to the context of health and wellness, instead of putting everything in the context of the virus. That's going to make you fearful. It's going to make you stressed out and depressed. So yes, the virus is part of it, but the main context, the main focus is health and wellness. How do I stay healthy? Not how do I avoid sickness, how do I stay healthy? It's the same thing, but that positive outlook and energetic transference is in your mindset. So everything, we're not at school, we're not at work, we're living our lives, we're in our home, but we are in the mindset of health and wellness. That will go so far. Awareness to health and wellness.
So with this health and wellness, and it's taken us so far, what impact do you think the coronavirus will have on our minds following this? Like months beyond, hopefully when all this is over and it's resolved, what impact do you think it will leave upon the minds?
I think we have a great opportunity to find the world in a better place. I think we would be missing an opportunity. Once we get through this, it's going to be like spring. Like we're going through a winter, we're going through a setback. It's like the world has the flu, or the world is going through a divorce. The globe is going through a tough time, but like every time, once you get over it, there's an emergence. And I think that we're going to find that we're going to work together. We're going to have a lot of compassion for one another, because a lot of us are suffering losses financially, physically, people, and we all feel that for one another. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot more compassion for one another, and that in and of itself is going to make the world a better place. We're going to be cleaner. We're going to be more caring about our fellow man. All of those things after we get through it, but we can get through it positively. What I always say, you create the future in the present. What we do now determines the world that we're going to be in. If we start wars now, fighting over beds and things, if we begin a war, it's going to take a lot longer. If we go negative and close our doors to helping other people, it's going to take a lot longer to come through. But what I see right now is a lot of compassion showing up. And if we can learn how to get over this hump positively, the world will be a better place on the other side.
Yes, it definitely will. It definitely would be a better place. And that can start with y'all stop withholding all that toilet paper. How about that? Let's start there. Right. Number one.
But guess what? I went to the store today. I told you I made shea butter. I also made hand sanitizer. And when I was at this little store, the guy said, I'm almost out of hand sanitizer. Oh my goodness. So I took him a bottle today and I just gave it to him. He's like, what do I owe you? I said, nothing. I felt so good.
See, look at that, y'all. See, it's things like this, to show that oneness that you spoke of earlier. There was a need and you went and used the resources you had to help meet that need. And hopefully that can just be paid forward to so many others.
Yes.
And you know what? That plays into your wellness lifestyle. So what are some misconceptions that people of color have about wellness lifestyle?
Oh my goodness. So many from different places. I could say, on the spiritual side, because I'm talking about, and I call it remarkable wellness. It is your body, your soul, your spirit, your emotions. It's everything because it's all interwoven. So, if someone says, I'm not into that wellness, so the spiritual side, they think you're trying to take them away from church, or something. That's why I say, if you don't believe in God, or if you do, or the universe, however your words are, but we get real protective and scared around that. So that keeps us limited sometimes. When it's working out, it is, and sometimes people just don't want to get the hair sweat out. I think that's we got to get away from that. Like, a healthy body is meaningful, but people have a concept. They feel like it's not fun, and being healthy and strong and energetic is fun. It's like if you got to go up the stairs to get to your bedroom, that's just what you got to do. It's not good or bad. So we have these sort of notions around just not wanting to change what we have, and I think this is a good time for us to start getting past that. People say, I don't have time to work out, I don't have this. We've got time now. There's plenty of time, and this would be a great, what if we all came out on the other side of this in, I'm gonna just say 4 months, who knows how long it's going to take, 3 or 4 months, healthier than we went in, because we actually had time to sleep, to walk, to whatever. So I think that we just need to change, that we just need to just sort of break some falsehoods. And my main thing is, it's all about awareness. I mean, once we stop focusing on the negative side of everything and start focusing on the positive, it sort of takes care of itself. If you have a wellness mindset that we were talking about, then you're going to want to work out. It's only 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It's because of your mindset. It's going to reduce your stress. It's going to make you feel good. You're going to be in that wellness space. So those are the few things that I think we got to sort of turn the switch on.
Yes, turn the switch on to this awareness, this health, being in this space. And talking about centered on being in this space, could you speak to the live meditations? Like, you've done recently a few live meditations, and they've held impact that has helped change the community. So I've mentioned meditation a few times, and I'm not, a master or anything, but I'm very connected. And so I know how good it makes me feel. What I tend to do is bring people together. So the last meditation was on protection and healing, because that's what we need now. And wherever 2 or more gather, there's a lot of power. So the live meditations, bringing people together, I did a Facebook Live, and I'll try to do them weekly. When you bring people together in that oneness, in that energetic space, it's powerful. It's really powerful when you do it by yourself anyway, but when you bring people doing these things together corporally, it makes all of the difference. And what meditation does for me is it makes me more connected. So everything is energy. Everything is vibrational. Whether you can hear it or not, like a dog hearing a whistle, or radio vibrations, with
everything is actually that energy that we transfer, is what sort of connects us. So, examples of how this invisible or spiritual or whatever we want to talk about energy works. You know when someone's staring at you from across the room. You know when someone's standing too close to you behind you, when someone walks up on you. You know when you call someone or when you think of someone and then they call you. Those things aren't coincidences. Though that is how the energy works. And so with meditation and those practices, you learn how to control some things. You learn how to control your thinking. You learn, because you only want positive energy to come to you. So therefore, you only put positive energy out. And that's what I do in my meditations. I am putting out positive energy and sort of, we're all lifting the world. We're building a sacred space, so almost like protection. Like you could almost just envision a bubble around you. And it's just the light of God. It's all things good, no conflict, peace, inner peace, happiness, wisdom, fulfillment. That's all we need. That's all we want. And so when you can continue to practice energetically, how does that feel? How does it feel when you give that out to other people? How does it feel when you receive it back? These are the live meditations we do. So we create a sacred space of health and protection. And again, if I'm happy and I can make you happy and then you make someone else happy, we've just made the world a better place, just like that. So that's what I try to do in my meditations. And we'll keep going pretty much topically. Right now it's clearly all about protection and health, but I think it's also about transformation. We're going through a transformation, and I think we can do it positively.
Yes, we can. How can we join y'all on Facebook? Which Facebook? What's the Facebook page and live where people can tune in?
TK Inspirations. And then I'm on Instagram, but we definitely did the Facebook Live. And I think we're going to just definitely do it weekly. So definitely join my page. Follow me. And it's Remarkable Wellness on, it's TKI Remarkable Wellness on Facebook. And it's Remarkable_Wellness on Instagram. And I just started a YouTube channel too. And I will be doing some meditations on there. And we talk about these 7 intentions more, and daily affirmations, everything positive. So whichever is your, mode of social media, I try to show up in different ways.
And speaking of showing up, what's the YouTube channel? Could you shout out the YouTube channel?
TK Inspirations.
See, look, TK, all things.
Tonya Kinlow, TK Inspirations. Besides that, that'll bring me up. And we just launched it right before this started. This virus started, so it's very new. So I would love to have more conversations on there.
Yes, guys. Make sure you check out TK Inspirations, YouTube, TKI, Remarkable Wellness on Facebook. Tune in. And Tonya, are there any key takeaways you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yes, that I think the biggest thing that we're going to take from this is what I would call, whether it's the law of attraction or, giving and receiving, to stay mindful of that, because what you put out, you definitely always get back. And so that's why it's important to put the stress away, let it go, because what you're wanting is a clean, healthy experience, and we're all connected. So just that connection, positivity, positive energy, with that and practicing that every day, you can overcome anything. And again, I talk about 7 intentions, and when you put them together in a certain way, they are so powerful. Each of them by themselves is powerful, like meditation or exercising. But when you put them together in a certain way, it is extremely powerful. All positive things, no negatives.
Yes.
Always positive.
All positive. All positive vibes.
All positive
all
vibes.
2020, please.
All day long.
Yes. I love it. Tonya, do you have any shout outs? Family, friends, YouTube, Facebook, any shout outs?
Well, yeah, I want to shout out to all of my wellness journeyers. I want to shout out, though, to all of the people on the front line right now. The healthcare workers, pharmacists, doctors, PAs, RNs, everybody, the policemen, the everything. Just the oneness. And then all of our families. Certainly I shout out you that we on the phone, right? And to my family, my kids, and my husband for sure. And I just want to say that we are about to launch a new wellness journey. So I want to shout out the TKI Wellness Journey. Like I said, we did 2 last year. It's 8 weeks. Every week we talk about one of the intentions. I do a one-on-one coaching with everybody, and it's interactive. We do it on Zoom so people can ask questions. So when people are thinking about what to do at home, this would be great. Like, take the wellness journey with me. And we're going to launch it. It's going to start April 13th. And the other thing we didn't say is my website. All the information is on remarkablewellness.us. So that's coming. I would love to see more people be a part of it. And during that, we do this 10 days. It's like a retreat. We're working together. I'm doing guided meditations. We're just doing a wellness retreat at home. So this is a great time for more people to participate in a wellness journey. That's my big shout out.
Yes, y'all, make sure y'all participate. Be active, especially in a time like this. Oneness, positive vibes, being united, helping each other out. We're just putting forth all things positive going forward.
All things positive. And there's no need to be bored. Like, this would be a great positive addition. And again, we all come out on the other side better than we went in.
So much better. So much better. And I thank you again for highlighting all those on the front line. Our nurses, our physicians, pharmacists, all my fellow pharmacists, physical therapists, respiratory therapists, all those on the front line. Thank you guys so much for what you all are doing. Police officers, even those at AutoZone. Shout out to AutoZone. You know, helping those out when they need things. So just thank you guys, EMS, everyone. Thank you all so much. Oh my goodness,
the people at the grocery store, the cashiers. Oh my goodness.
Yes, cashiers, all grocery stores. Thank you, Walmart. Thank y'all.
Stockers, yes.
Yes, everyone. Truck drivers, thank y'all, because I need my food and my tissue. Everybody, thank y'all. UPS, FedEx.
So we're a thankful people. Like, this energy and this is just, it's going to make it better. And so I'm thankful for you for having me on here. I'm very happy about this. Yes. Thank you for having me. It was a great conversation. I feel good hearing you.
And vice versa. Thank you so much, Tonya. We greatly appreciate it. And that is our show. Thank you for joining us on the Living Corporate Podcast. Be sure to follow Tonya Kinlow on LinkedIn at Tonya Kinlow and her website, Remarkable Wellness. You guys heard her YouTube channel. Be sure to follow in, and her Facebook page, the TKI Remarkable. Just make sure you guys follow her. All things positive energy. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at Living Corp, Twitter at Living Corp_pod, and subscribe to our newsletter through www.living-corporate.com. If you have questions you'd like for us to answer and read on the show, make sure you email them to us at livingcorporatepodcast@gmail.com. This has been Sheneisha, and you've been listening to Tonya Kinlow, founder of Remarkable Wellness, TKI. Y'all, check her out. This is great energy. And just thank you again, Tonya, for being here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Living Corporate is a podcast by Living Corporate LLC. Our logo was designed by David Dawkins. Our theme music was produced by Ken Brown. Additional music production by Antoine Franklin for Musical Elevation. Post-production is handled by Jeremy Jackson. Got a topic suggestion? Email us at livingcorporatepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us online on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and living-corporate.com. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned.